The magnificent Hawkesbury River is located just 20 minutes north of Sydney on the east coast of Australia and is a haven for recreational fishermen. Together with the Pacific Ocean, the Hawkesbury-Nepean system almost completely encircles the Sydney metropolitan area. Starting in the hills above Wollongong, the river heads west to the Warragamba Dam, then circles towards the coast via Penrith, Richmond, Wiseman's Ferry, past the Pacific Highway and Expressway bridges, and empties into the sea at Broken Bay. Many freshwater streams feed the Hawkesbury's headwaters. In the lower reaches, the tidal creeks of Mangrove, Mooney and Mullet Creek empty into it from the northern side, with the deep water valleys of Marramarra and Cowan Creeks from the south. The vast expanse of pitwater lies on the southern side of the river mouth at Broken Bay. The Hawkesbury is one of the major river systems along the New South Wales coast, providing much of the school prawn harvests and Sydney rock oyster supplies to the seafood markets. It is therefore more than coincidental that the river supports large populations of bream and mulloway because of that ready supply of their favourite food. With numerous boat launching facilities, fishing charter and hire boat outlets, the Hawkesbury is easily accessible to all.
Hi, I'm Bruce Schumacher, and we're going to spend a day or two fishing the lower Hawkesbury between Spencer and Broken Bay to see if we can't get a fish or two, but more importantly, to show you some of the more productive spots and how and when I have some success fishing them. I mean, you can throw a baited line into the water anywhere on the river with a chance of catching a fish, and if fishing to you is just the opportunity to get out in the outdoors on or near the water, that's fine. But if you're seriously after a feed of fish, then you have to go where the fish concentrate. Spots that are popular for the fish because there's a ready supply of food or maybe habitat that offers them some protection from larger predators. Well, I hope to make it easier for you to find some of these hot spots by fishing them with you as company. So let's get out there and see if we can't get a fish or two. We're fishing Neverfail just downstream from Spencer on the Hawkesbury River. The area we generally fish is from the houses downstream on this large bend that goes past the caravan park and finishes up just near the rock wall behind me. Good bottom, good deep channel on the northern side, plenty of formation for the bream to gather as they feed on the prawns coming down the river. Fishes particularly well in the spring period from October, November through to December. That's when the prawns start to run, the fish move upriver to feed on those prawns, their favourite food. Best time of the tide is the last couple of hours of the run-out tide, particularly on the small tides when there's not too much run in the water. Forget about the new moon period and the full moon period, that's when you have the large tides, but that period in between when you have tides of less than a metre can be ideal for fishing this area. Now you are fishing fairly deep water. Suggest you use a fairly large seeker to make sure that the bait is down near the bottom where the fish are. I also tend to use a fairly long trace, and that can be in excess of a metre in length. That lets the bait swing in the channel, helps to attract the fish to the bait. I'm using large Hawkesbury River prawn for bait, that's what the fish are feeding on. They're sitting in this deep channel. I like to anchor around about 3 to 4 boat lengths out from the shore in that 10 to 11 metre mark. And, well, we've got about another half hour of the tide left. We might see if we can get into 1 or 2 of these big Hawkesbury River bream. Fish can really use the current. They'll sit sideways the current, and even a small fish can finish up with quite a pull on the line. All right. Nothing huge, we won't have to net him, but he is a keeper. We might put him in the box for a feed. You'll notice he swallowed the hook well down. One of the advantages of using the long trace. You know, it gives him a chance to fool around with the bait, get it down. You've got to remember that under these conditions, the fish are very aggressive. Bream do have a reputation of being fairly timid fish, but under these conditions, they're the first of the food gets it, and they do tend to be in a school situation, so they tend to be far more aggressive. That's why we can go up to 7 kilo line without too much trouble. We're coming up to about the best time for the fish now. Last hour they run out tide, the water started to slow down. This is when the fish will come out from hiding, start to move around looking for a feed. I mean, generally most fish are fairly lazy. They'll sit in the protection, in the comfort behind a rock somewhere when the current's strong. As soon as it slackens off, that's when they go looking for a feed. And that's when we've got to have our baits in the water ready for them. Another touch, they're not really hitting the baits this morning. They seem to be playing around a bit, but I think I've got another one having a bit of a look here. Yep. See how they use that current? They get side onto that current, and a kilo brim can feel like a 3 kilo brim under these conditions. Got 6 kilo line on here, and he's still giving me quite a tussle. Don't hurry the fight. As I said before, these fish are generally very well hooked. You're not going to throw the hook, but you can break the line fairly easily, so just take your time. Play the fish out. Be very careful when you get him near the boat. They'll spook very quick as soon as they see the boat, and they'll have another very hard run. A lot of fish are lost right beside the boat. People see the fish, want to get it in the boat, and they rush the capture. Don't do that, take your time. Yeah, here's a brim. I'm not sure he's close to a kilo. I don't think he'll go a kilo, but you can see how hard he's fighting. Very good condition fish, these fish, and they certainly know how to put on a fight. And then under him, we've got him. And that's one of your better quality Hawkesbury brim. Not the biggest you'll catch, but he's going very close to a kilo. And with a bit of luck, we'll get a few more of them. You'll notice I'm using the Gamakatsu chemically sharpened hooks. Certainly a benefit. You'll certainly increase your hookup rate. I'm using about a 1/0 medium shank octopus there. I find it's ideal for the prawns that we're catching at the moment. Later in the season, when the prawns get bigger, you may have to go up to a better size 3/0 hook. You don't only select the hook to suit the fish you're catching, you have to select the hook to suit the bait that you're using too. It's important that you've got a hook that suits the bait. You want the point and the barb exposed. You don't want the point and the barb buried in the bait. You want it exposed, and these prawns we're using at the moment